Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Endless Courage coming back to you with the update on the Nolan Wells case. In my last video, I did play a recording. I did say alleged. I wasn't sure if it was real or not. And it's still an ongoing investigation. I may get things wrong. I try to look to bigger creators for information, and even they say alleged as well. So that's why I practice saying allegedly, because unless it's something that comes out in the trial, when the trial does happen, then that's something that's fact, right? So take my findings with a grain of salt, and I try to be as honest and try to do as much, looking around as possible as far as like information. The trial has not started. No one is been accused of this crime, or if it is even a crime, it's not in like black and white, so I wanted to read this article because I wanted to see if there was an update as far as the autopsy. So this is the Washington Post, an article. It is called "Three People Charged with Threatening Judge, Witnesses in Nolan Wells Case." The alleged threats were made in the case of a black teen who was found dead off of the Mississippi coast after celebrating the 4th of July with friends. So this is by Stella Canino Cornelius. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but 3 people have been charged with threatening witnesses, officials, and a judge connected to the case of Nolan Wells, a black teenager found dead on the Mississippi island after celebrating the 4th of July with friends. The defendants from Illinois, Ohio, and California do not appear to have a connection to Wells, his family, or the case, the Associated Press reported. The people made the threats by phone and text messages and on social media, court records state. One threatened to mail a bomb to a judge's office, according to the court documents. Another allegedly said that they will bomb a sheriff's office. The third threatened to kill 2 witnesses in the case, an affidavit states. Wells' death has drawn wide attention after his parents and their attorney questioned whether Mississippi officials adequately scrutinized the circumstances behind the teen's death. Investigators have not determined how Wells died and initially said no foul play was involved. Wells, who was black, is presumed to have drowned near an island in the Gulf of Mexico after he took a boat trip to the area with several white friends. Ben Crump, the family's attorney, said last month that Wells' parents distrust Mississippi law enforcement's handling of the case because of the state's complex racial history. An affidavit filed in federal court in Mississippi said Edward James Porter of Illinois called 2 witnesses on July 31st and threatened to kill them. In one call, he allegedly threatened to kill the witness and the witness's family. He said he had the witness's address and texted it to them, according to the affidavit. The previous week, Michelle Francine Edwards of Ohio called the George County Chancery Clerk's office 21 times and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office 8 times, threatening to bomb them, according to an affidavit. "Y'all got bombs outside, don't come outside," quote unquote, Edwards allegedly said, adding an expletive on the record phone logs. The third affidavit said Joseph Alfredo Vasquez Dermis of California sent a Facebook message to a Jackson County judge on July 11th, threatening to mail a bomb to the judge's office. The affidavit indicated the judge is the mother of one of Wells' friends. The judge threatened is Ashley Cole, according to a Facebook post she shared about threats made to her and her family. Porter, Edwards, and Dermis could not immediately be reached for comment. It was not immediately clear whether Edwards and Dermis have attorneys. The lawyer assigned to Porter did not respond to a request for comment. Porter and Dermis were charged with making interstate threats to injure someone. Edwards was charged with making an interstate threat to kill or injure someone or damage a building. Dermis had an initial appearance and has been detained awaiting trial, court records state. Edwards was arrested with the initial appearance set for next week. Porter appeared in court August 3rd and is in custody while awaiting another hearing in the case. The FBI office in Jackson, Mississippi, and the FBI headquarters also did not respond to requests for comment. Wells' mother reported her son missing when he didn't return with his friends from Horn Island, where they were celebrating the 4th of July holiday. That set off a search that ended July 6 when Wells' body was found. Wells' friends told investigators that they left the island because the boat had mechanical problems and that Wells had chosen to stay behind with the girl he had met. But the girl told investigators that Wells had planned to return to the main island with his friends. So that was something I said, that the friend said that he decided to stay with the girl, but the girl said no, he went with his friends. Conflicting stories. An independent autopsy commissioned by Wells' family found that the teen's cause of death was undetermined, but did not rule out foul play. Christine Woolsey, Wells' mother, said at the time that she was concerned investigators initially said they didn't suspect foul play. Authorities said their investigation remains active. Investigators have not named any suspects in connection with Wells' death. His friends have cooperated with authorities, according to the Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter. An official autopsy has been completed, officials said, but the results are being withheld pending a grand jury review. So that's one article about the autopsy. So basically it's been, let's go back to that, undetermined, and basically that the results are being withheld pending a grand jury review. So no one will really find out about what the autopsy, what they found, in pending a grand jury review. And that's, with the hope that this goes to trial and that justice is served. So let me look at another article. So the United Cajun Navy, they were the ones that found Nolan's body. Okay, so this is something that it's by Fox News. I actually was watching a YouTube video of someone saying that Nolan Wells' mother, is her nursing license is under investigation. So let me just clarify that by just reading through this article. So the article is called Misconduct Investigation Against Nolan Wells' Mother Closed by Mississippi Board of Nursing, she says. So it says a professional misconduct investigation against Christine Wells Woolsey, the mother of Nolan Wells, that was initiated following an anonymous complaint, has been closed by the Mississippi Board of Nursing, Woolsey said Wednesday on Facebook. This definitely has added more hurt to an already devastating time because I love my job and I love my patients, Woolsey said in a post. Nolan's case is still ongoing. Earlier Wednesday, Woolsey attorney, civil rights and personal injury lawyer Ben Crump released a statement condemning the complaint and investigation as a warning shot meant to pressure and silence the grieving mother. After the Mississippi Board of Nursing closed the professional misconduct complaint, Crump released the following statement. The complaint against Christine Wells Woolsey has been closed and it should never have been filed in the first place. It was frivolous, it was unfounded, and it was never about patient care. It was an attempt to distract a grieving mother and intimidate her into silence, filed by someone who would not put their name on it. That effort failed. Christine is not going to spend her energy on whoever did this. She is focused on getting her questions answered, the same questions she has had since the day she lost her son. Those questions did not go away when this complaint was filed, and they do not go away now that it has been closed. What Christine still does not have is the truth about her son. We intend to get it. So I guess a complaint, because if you don't know about nursing, when it comes to your license, it's very fragile. Like, you can actually lose your license as a nurse with false claims, And I've actually heard it. I actually wanted to go into nursing, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to do it, because I was like, how could you lose your license off of somebody playing with your ability to make money? And so, but it is true, like, you could actually lose your license based on a complaint lodged against you. So to continue, nearly 1 month after Nolan Wells was found dead on Horn Island on July 6, his cause of death remains unconfirmed, and an independent autopsy ordered by Crump and his team returned inconclusive results. Crump said Woolsey has spent her career caring for Mississippi patients without a prior complaint to the board. After Nolan's body was found, Woolsey took leave from her job to bury her son. Crump said it was only after she began asking questions about Nolan's death that the complaint was filed. This is, quote, "This is a warning shot at a grieving mother meant to pressure and scare her into staying silent," Crump said in a statement, quote, "It is a distraction, it is intimidation, and we will not let it stand. Christine had part of her identity stolen from her the day Nolan died. Now someone is trying to take another piece of it. This cruelty has no bounds." And so that's the end of the article. Let me see if I can find something else. Okay, this is ABC News. So this is titled, "That's My Voice." Friend of late Mississippi teen Nolan Wells speaks out on what he saw that day. Nolan Wells vanished after going on a boat trip with friends on July 4th. By Mark Garino. So a high school friend of Nolan Wells says that a viral video depicting a 4th of July party at a barrier island off the coast of Mississippi does not depict an argument involving Wells, but actually shows him, he said to ABC News in a broadcast exclusive. Wells, an 18-year-old Mississippi college football player, died following the all-day party on Horn Island off the coast of Ocean Springs, his hometown. Attorney Ben Crump, who represents Wells' parents, said Friday that Wells is among a group of people standing on the island and is heard on the video shot from a boat on the water demanding his phone back. However, Transiston Shepard, who said he was a high school friend of Wells, said on Sunday the voice heard on the video was his own. Wells is not in the video, he said. That, quote, "That's me yelling. There was no talk about a phone in that video, but instead," Shepard said, "he was telling others who were both restraining him to let him off the boat so he can continue the fight." So yes, there is a video. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even though, the Wells family and their representation, Ben Crump is saying that if anyone has any information, please come forward. It is easy to get things wrong and to think that, because I heard the audio of someone saying, "Get the F off me." And and they said that was Nolan, just trying to connect, just the alleged what people probably think is that something happened, like a fight happened. And so they thought that may have been Nolan, but it wasn't Nolan, according to this article. To continue, Shepard said that the altercation was between him and another man, a stranger who allegedly started a fight with him. He said that he and his group of friends, which included Wells, had been drinking alcohol since the late morning after multiple boats, all containing his friends, arrived on the island for an outing that had been planned to be one last hurrah before returning to either school or work after the holiday break. About 300 people, many of them former high school classmates, were gathered near them on the island. Later in the day, after being told the boat needed to return to shore due to an electric issue, Shepard said Wells said he wanted to stay behind because he met a girl and will return on another friend's boat. ABC News has made attempts to contact the girl. Authorities say they have been interviewing everyone they can who was with Wells or may have spoken to him that day. Wells' body was recovered on Monday in the water off the island shore. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter told ABC News he suspects Wells drowned but is still investigating. An autopsy is being conducted by the state medical examiner. The results are pending, Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lynn Jr. said. Shepard said he and Wells were among a tight circle of friends who had known each other since their freshman year at Ocean Springs High School. Shepard, 20, said Wells, quote, was just somebody that you automatically just felt so comfortable to talk to, and they bonded through athletics. Their friends group was, quote, very diverse in race and ethnicity, and he said they all had one thing in common: admiration for Wells. Quote, nobody would ever hurt Nolan in our friend group. We would die for him. We would do everything in our power for that guy. If he needed anything, we would do it, quote, he said. Nolan, quote, Nolan brought us all together. Authorities stressed their work to determine exactly what happened is still ongoing. Shepard declined to be interviewed on camera by ABC News because he said he fears for his safety. He said he and other friends have been besieged by death threats since Nolan's body was found last Monday from people accusing them of playing a role in his death. He said he wanted to speak publicly, but he wanted to share his version of what happened. Crump told Good Morning News last Thursday that a key piece of evidence was Wells' phone, which he said was retrieved from his friends, something he said was suspicious, which I said that as well. Shepard said that it was very common for everyone to leave their phones in the boat. He said few videos or photos exist from that day because everyone was in the water and not on their phones. And I actually said that maybe, like, because everybody was there was no reason to actually be on your phone. But the only thing about it that I don't understand is that why wouldn't it, if Nolan stayed on the beach because he met a girl, why wouldn't he take his phone? Why was it found with friends? That's what doesn't make any sense. Quote, all our friends are out there. Who are we communicating with? And we're in salt water. We're not in fresh water, quote, he said. Wells, he said, placed his phone in the boat of one of their friends. When, quote, when Nolan got in the water, he put his phone on the boat dash, also with probably 15 other phones, quote. Ledbetter told ABC News that Crump has not yet turned over Wells' phone to his investigators. Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers McLurt met with Wells' parents Wednesday morning as the family conducts an independent investigation. Crump said the family and the DA agreed during Wednesday's, quote, respectful meeting to have, quote, have a mutual inspection of Wells' phone, quote, with experts and their experts. Myers McRath, I'm screwing up this person's name, McIlrath, routinely meets with families of deceased children and told ABC News Tuesday that the meeting with the Wells family is meant to offer victim services and to help navigate the process of a death investigation. Once the sheriff's department investigation into Wells' death is complete, the district attorney's office will present the case to a grand jury, which is standard procedure for most unnatural or suspicious death in the county. Shepard also said that a photo circulating on social media and reshared by Ben Crump's official Instagram account, which supposedly shows Wells at a pool party in the early morning hours of July 5th, which was actually from June 27th at a different location. See? It's easy to get it confused and to be so, we want to get the information out, but we're not going to always be right. Shepard said he had spoken with investigators about what he witnessed on the island that day. Shepard, who is biracial, objected to what he saw as framing Wells' death solely around race before the investigation bears out the full facts. Okay? But the thing is that the reason why people would think that this is racial is because you guys are in Mississippi and you're in the South. And so, like, it's not as progressed as the North. Like, there's still racial conflict out there, and there's still stories coming, to the public about certain crimes, and there's things that we don't hear about. So, to say that the South is, all races have joined together and they get along, that's just not true. Amid the heated rhetoric surrounding the case, he and his friends have faced threats, Shepard said. Quote, they're trying to spin a narrative that's not there, he said. Shepard said he wants everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan and let us remember him as the sweet guy he was and not something we're scared of because of the trauma we've had. Quote, if Ben Crump is doing his own investigation, let him do it, he said. Quote, then let the sheriff office conclude with their investigation and figure out what the facts are on their end. Let us all just know the truth instead of jumping to conclusions about things. Quote, we all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted his life taken so short, he said. Quote, he had everything going for him. Through Crump, Wells' parents told ABC News that while they have never met Shepard, they cannot discount his recollection of the day's events, but emphasized that the investigation is ongoing. Crump said that the family welcomes all accounts because they want to get the truth. Crump added on Wednesday that the independent investigators are, quote, getting about 50 calls a day to 100 calls a day from people who were there on Horn Island, people who are familiar with individuals that were there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments of these articles and the information that's been put out. I think that I just want to kind of stick to articles and not really go off of interviews and stuff like that. I'll still watch. I haven't watched an interview with his friends done by Officer Tatum, but I definitely want to explore articles. I think that's a lot more safer. And as far as like just getting the facts right, and they may have like interviews of people that were there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, like and subscribe.